A couple has rare twin babies, and you won't believe how they look now. Before you continue, remember to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss another touching story like this. When Sarah first held her baby girls, everyone in the delivery room became quiet, not because they were scared, but because they were amazed. The twin babies, born just minutes apart, had skin as pale as porcelain, so light you could almost see through it. Their hair was pure white, soft and delicate, like strands of silk. Even their tiny eyelashes and eyebrows seemed to vanish under the bright hospital lights. The nurses looked at each other. A children's doctor came over quietly, but Sarah stayed calm. She held them tight against her, her body shaking with emotion, and said softly, "They're perfect." A few hours later, the doctors told them what they already suspected. The baby girls, Mia and Lily, were born with oculocutaneous albinism, an uncommon genetic condition that affects how the body makes melanin in the skin, eyes, and hair. The chance of this happening was already less than 1 in 17,000. But having identical twins who both have albinism, that was nearly impossible. David, their father, stared in shock as he tried to understand what the doctor was saying. "Are they going to be okay?" he asked, holding one of his tiny daughters, feeling her warm skin against his hand. "They're perfectly healthy," the doctor told him. "But they'll need to be protected from the sun for their whole lives, and they might have trouble with their eyesight." Sarah nodded, already pulling the baby blanket up to shield her daughter's head. They had no clue how different raising their children would turn out to be. As time went on, it was obvious the twins were growing well, holding up their heads early, following things with their eyes, making cooing sounds back and forth in a way that seemed like their own special language. But even during those peaceful early days, people watched them constantly. At the supermarket, strangers would stare into their stroller. "Are those babies albino?" someone said quietly. Sarah glanced up. "They have albinism," she replied gently, picking her words with care. Not everyone was so polite. One person walking by said under their breath, "They look like tiny ghosts." Another lady asked, "Were they born too early? They look incomplete." David's jaw tightened more times than he could remember. When the twins were 6 months old, Sarah stopped going to busy playgrounds. By 8 months, the babies had matching glasses that blocked UV light, big sun hats, and SPF 100+ sunblock in every corner of the house. They weren't embarrassed. They were being careful parents. But staying away from others hurt. As Mia and Lily got bigger, their different personalities started to show beautifully. Mia was fearless. She made sounds first, started crawling first, and one time pulled herself up in her bed just to throw her pacifier and laugh. Lily was calmer and liked to watch. She would often study Mia, copying her movements slowly, moving toward doing things on her own at her own speed. Together they balanced each other perfectly, like two parts of one melody. They would comfort each other when bright lights scared them. They would hold each other's hands at doctor visits. They even seemed to talk to each other using sounds that only they could figure out. Sarah was certain she once saw Lily look at Mia before taking her first step, like she was asking, "Is it okay if I try this too?" But difficult times came quickly. When they became toddlers, Mia started having nystagmus, fast eye movements that happen a lot in kids with albinism. Lily's sensitivity to light was so bad that even soft sunlight made her cry. The doctors recommended special treatments, adjusted lighting in the house, and custom tools to help them see. Sarah and David acted right away. They changed everything in their home. They painted the walls with flat paint, put blackout shades in every window, and used gentle lights that wouldn't bother Lily. But some situations couldn't be controlled. At a child's birthday celebration, one mom pulled her kid away and said quietly, "I'm not sure if it's okay. Should those children even be out here?" David heard it all. Sarah left with tears she refused to let anyone see. Even with all of this, the twins grew stronger in their own special way. When night came, they would curl up together just like they had before they were born. In the mornings, they would giggle at the same time, pulling at each other's covers before their mom and dad could get to their room. They figured out how to adjust, how to live in a world that often thought they were unusual, even delicate. But they weren't delicate at all. They were special and amazing. One day, as gentle sunlight came through the curtained window of the nursery, Lily grabbed Mia's hand and said her first real word. Sarah, watching from the doorway, put her hand over her mouth. She'd been worried the world wouldn't accept them, but now she realized they would teach the world to accept them together. When Mia and Lily reached 4 years old, they had already faced more staring, gossip, and curious questions than most people experience in their entire lives. But while everyone kept wondering, what's the matter with them? The twins were proving what was wonderful about being unique. Sarah would often look at them through the kitchen window while they played outside. Lily, wearing her big sun hat and blue dress, would spin around slowly in a spot covered by shade, holding a red bouncy ball. Mia, who was always more daring, would run a bit too close to where the sun was, just to see what would happen. They had figured out how to understand each other without words. When Lily's eyes began to ache, Mia would carefully bring her back inside. When Mia got stressed by noisy sounds or unfamiliar settings, Lily would take her hand, saying softly, "Let's go together." Sarah and David never needed to show them how to look after each other. It just happened naturally. Starting school, though, was a whole different challenge. The preschool director hesitated when she met the twins at sign-up. "They're going to need extra help," she said carefully. "You know they're going to get a lot of attention." David tensed up. "We know they'll get attention in the best possible way." It wasn't only about windows that block UV rays and soft lighting. It was worrying that other kids wouldn't get it, that the same unkind whispers from strangers would come from their classmates, that Mia and Lily would be made to feel inferior once more. But Sarah and David didn't back down. "We don't want them kept out of sight," Sarah explained. "We want them recognized for who they truly are." On their first school day, both girls had on matching blue dresses and purple sunglasses. Mia held Lily's hand firmly as they entered the classroom, their little backpacks bouncing on their shoulders. Some children looked at them curiously. One small boy questioned, "How come your hair is so white?" Lily turned to him and said, "Because we were born unique." Mia said, "And we can see when it's dark." The other kids laughed. The awkwardness disappeared. The girls felt comfortable. By the time lunch came, they had new friends around them, displaying their books made for light-sensitive eyes and playing on the floor with big smiles. When Sarah came to get them, their teacher stopped her. "I need to tell you something. They made this classroom feel different today." It had nothing to do with their medical condition. It was about how brave they were, how confident. Sarah's eyes got watery as she tried not to cry. "Thank you," she said quietly. Days became weeks and then months. The twins got used to school much better than anyone thought they would, but one special event would transform everything. The school planned Hero Day, where every child could dress up as someone they looked up to. Most children showed up in superhero costumes, space suits, or firefighter uniforms. But Mia and Lily came in wearing matching capes, handmade cardboard glasses painted shiny silver, and shirts with big black writing, "Rare is real." When the teacher asked them who they dressed up as, Mia said, "Ourselves." Lily added, were heroes to each other. A person snapped a picture. It went viral on the internet in just a few hours. All of a sudden, people everywhere were talking about their story. Mothers and fathers of kids with albinism wrote to say thank you. Teachers asked questions about how to better help unusual children in their schools. A children's health organization called Sarah and wanted to include the twins in a public awareness project. But the most incredible thing happened a few weeks later when a package showed up at their house. Inside was a shiny magazine with them on the front. There were Mia and Lily, holding hands, smiling big, their white blonde hair shining in the sunlight. The title said, "Brighter than ever, the twins who showed the world how to see things differently." That evening, Sarah put them to bed, their hands still messy from eating cake and celebrating. "Mommy," Lily said softly, "was it all right that we were born like this?" Sarah grinned, moving a piece of hair away from her face. "Not just all right, sweetheart. It was something precious." Mia moved a little next to her. "We made people notice us." Sarah agreed. "That's right. And when they looked again, they saw how bright you shine." Did you enjoy the story? How would you have handled the stares and whispers if you were Sarah and David? Would you have kept the twins more protected at home, or would you have taken them out into the world just like they did? Let us know in the comments below. If you liked the story, subscribe to this channel and leave a like. Thanks so much for listening. See you in the next video.